A statewide fire alert is in effect for California. Hot, dry, and windy weather has put some 25 million people in the path of dangerous conditions. The Kincaid fire ignited late Wednesday. By Thursday morning, it had burned 10,000 acres. And late Thursday, a new fire broke out about an hour north of Los Angeles. It's threatening an estimated 300 homes. The state's largest utility company, PG&E, has already shut off power to at least 150,000 homes and businesses in an effort to prevent more fires from sparking. Jonathan Vigliotti is there.
Within minutes, these hillsides exploded overnight. The inferno could be seen for miles as flames raced across tinder-dry grass and brush. Driven by 60-mile-per-hour winds, the fire burned the length of a football field every 3 seconds, sparking fire tornadoes and torching several homes. Farm animals were trapped and firefighters overwhelmed.
You can see how the high winds are really whipping up these flames. The embers are flying at times. It's actually been quite terrifying.
At one point, the erratic flames surrounded first responders and news crews. Our only option to drive through the blaze.
We have to ask for their help.
We were guided through the thick smoke, and it became clear everyone needed to get out fast.
Wow.
It was outpacing us, and we just couldn't really keep ahead of it. It's always these fall months that are the most damaging, the most destructive.
Here in California's wine country, crews continue to battle the fire with 10 air tankers and multiple ground crews. But for some, it's too late.
Just put the hose water.
So you started spraying with water.
Carlos Gonzalez and his co-workers tried to fight off the flames at their vineyards in the town of Geyserville. The grapes survived. Their homes did not.
There's 4 houses.
4 homes in total.
Yeah.
It all went up in flames. And I can tell you he is not alone. Tonight, 2,000 people remain evacuated. Many of them do not know the fate of their homes. The wind has calmed down, but it is expected to pick back up by Saturday and could last even longer. Nikki.
Jonathan Vigliotti, thank you. CBS News weather producer David Parkinson joins me now. David, that Sonoma wildfire is being fueled by strong winds. Is there any end in sight to those winds?
Yeah, so I mean, the worst is over considerably. So when that fire broke out, it was just shy of 11 p.m. local time. Was the first time that we had started to notice it. And within an hour, it had just jumped in size. You could watch it on some of the fire watch cameras they have in the mountain ranges there. The winds were gusting at 78 miles an hour, which if that was a sustained wind, that would be a Category 1 hurricane. So you can see that kind of propulsion of those flames is really the problem. The good news is if you take a look at what the satellite is showing us and what the wind pattern is showing us, we're still seeing an offshore wind event, but the speed has decreased. So what was a gust in the 70s is now a gust in the 20s or 30s. That's enough to spread things, but it's not going to be sort of that catastrophic situation. So what you're looking right there, that's the flow of wind. And so you're noticing wherever you see the most arrows, that's where the wind is the strongest. So you're actually seeing some of that shift down to Southern California. That's where the concern primarily is tonight. But really what was going on here, and the big concern is that all of this stuff is coming down off these sort of coastal mountain ranges. And you can see that's where the fire is burning. Anywhere shaded in red, that's the power cutoff areas. But you see how these arrows just sort of descend over the mountains and speed up? That's what happens. So that's the pattern that we've got, and unfortunately that's not a pattern that's abating anytime soon.
Red flag warnings have been issued in Northern and Southern California. Are these fire conditions going to continue into the weekend?
Yeah, so I think you might have a 24-hour period where things are better, but we have a couple of things that are really serious. We've got red flag warnings both in Northern California and in Southern California. We've got a high wind warning outside of Los Angeles there for inland Orange County, inland San Diego County, and then parts of San Gabriel and the San Fernando valleys. The interesting thing is up in that red area that you see north there, that red flag warning, there is already a high wind watch that has been issued for the weekend. And that's really the concern, is that though we'll have a calm Friday night into Saturday night into Sunday, it's right back off to the races.
And you're watching a more serious wind event. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so what we're noticing in terms of those fire conditions is you've got a real strong wind event that comes probably into your Sunday hours. So if we'll advance the map to show you on Sunday, what will happen is you've got a giant pressure gradient and a trough working together. So what that does is that amplifies the winds, and what you're going to end up seeing is the winds really picking up Sunday early morning hours. There we go. Now you can see the map there. Anywhere where you see those sort of deep dark colors there, see those greens? That's in the hills of Contra Costa County and Alameda County, up into Yolo, Sutter, and Butte counties. All of those things right in those immediate Bay Area counties, even down into Marin that you're starting to see there. Those are gusts of 50, 60, 70 miles an hour. And so that's Sunday morning, and it's much more widespread. This was limited just to a couple of counties, but you're also seeing some wind down there further to the south into parts of the Central Valley. It's a real dry stretch for Sunday morning. And then what's interesting is that will then spread down to the south. So by Monday morning, you can see a lot of those wind events that are closer to Ventura County, towards places like Oxnard and Santa Barbara that had been seeing those fires a couple of years ago. It's those same areas that we've been seeing over the last couple of years getting hit again and again because they're the most fire-prone areas. There's lots of vegetation because there was a decent amount of rain this year. All of those things combined with an extremely dry fall, because what you've got is a blocking high way to the north up by Washington, and that's preventing all of the rain from perhaps coming towards California. And so you've got this long dry stretch, humidities 2, 3, 4%, which are insanely low humidities. So it takes absolutely nothing to start these fires, and then the wind propagates them across these mountain ridges and into these suburbs, and that's what we're watching, particularly Sunday into Monday. I think this is the most widespread wind event the state has had this year.
Wow, the images are so powerful. We hope Californians who are in threatened areas can get to safety and evacuate.
Absolutely. And that's the thing also, is if they're going to cut your power, which I think they're going to be a lot more liberal with this weekend event, make sure that you have a way to get those evacuation warnings. Because the problem is that if you're relying on something that's plugged in, it's not going to work. If you're relying on your phone and the battery gets depleted, it's not going to work. So make sure that you have either generators or backup power for your cell phone or emergency radios, things like that. Check your batteries because you don't want to be in a situation where you need to get out and that information is not coming to you.
Good advice. A really frightening time for some. Thanks, David.
Absolutely.
Thank
Sure.
you.